Hey there, this is Candace from Return to Life Massage, and I just wanted to give you guys a quick little Pilates-based routine for strengthening and stretching the chest and shoulder area. As you may know, I had a double mastectomy recently, back in February, so it's been about 10 weeks. And so I've got scar tissue and tightness all in the lateral sides, in the chest, and so working on getting some range of motion back into that area. It's going to be helpful for me and anyone else who's been through something similar, as well as frozen shoulder, shoulder injuries, general neck and shoulder pain, anything like that. So we're going to be using this power circle, which is a Pilates-based tool, which is relatively easy to find for pretty cheap. If you can't find one of these, then like a fitness ball of a similar size would also be something you could use. An unweighted, squishy fitness ball you could also use. And then we're going to be using also a resistance band. So starting with the strengthening portion, I'm going to be using my power circle here. So I'm going to start with, I'll turn slightly to the side so you can see a little bit better the angle. Okay, so I've got my elbows in to my rib cage, and my hands are on the pads of this power circle here. I've got my shoulders rolled back and down, so I don't want to let the chest roll forward, right? So shoulder blades pull together in the back, and the spine is nice and tall. So you can see I've got a nice flat back position here. Okay, so from there we're going to start with a nice smooth squeeze into the circle. So the entire exhale, and inhale, release. Exhale, press. Inhale, release. We're going to do 3 more of those. Now, a variation on this we can do, it can help to feel some expansion in the rib cage. Sometimes we feel a little bit of shortness of breath when we're very tight in this area, very rolled forward. So we can do on the inhale, we can pull that circle open. Feel broadening in the collarbones and the rib cage. Exhale, squeeze. Good. And in Pilates, when we talk about rib cage breathing, very specific breathing pattern. We think of expanding the ribs out to the side as we inhale. That allows us to keep our core nice and tight. So the power circle becomes almost a model of our diaphragm here. So we inhale, expanding wide side to side, filling up the ribs. And exhale. The diaphragm pushes all that air out. Last one here. Good. And then we're going to go overhead with the power circle here. Now, we want to talk about shoulder stability. So what we don't want to do is bring the shoulder blades all the way up into the ears. There's a sensation of sliding the shoulder blades down the back. Almost think of placing them in the back pocket of your pants. Okay? And then overhead here while maintaining that shoulder stability. Again, on the exhale, nice smooth press. And inhale, release that squeeze. Now, if you wanted to, you can add some pulses. Good. And then we bring it down. Okay. So then the next position we're going to do here, we're going to do a little bit on one side. So if you place the pad of that circle right on the upper trap muscle right there, and then you're going to hold onto the pad with one hand. This is going to be a bicep curl. Okay. So you're going to press down. Inhale, release. Exhale, bicep. Inhale, release. And 2 more there. And then we're going to come down to the hip. So when finding the correct placement here, slide that fitness ball out of the way so you can see where we're going. Okay. So on this part of your hip, you've got your greater trochanter of the femur, is that bony spot right there. And then the iliac crest is that upper hip bone right there. Right in between, there's kind of a soft spot. And so that's where that pad is going to go, right there. And then the elbow comes out at an angle here. So we want to engage the lat. So you almost imagine you've got an orange or a small power circle in the armpit here. And that's actually what we're squeezing. It's going to be that small power circle or that orange in the armpit. Good. So we're engaging from that lat. Squeezing. Last one. And then from here, this one actually I feel like is the most challenging. I'm going to bring the circle behind you. Okay? Hands are flat on the pads of that circle. And the elbows, we want to roll those elbows back. Feel like you're going to squeeze a beach ball between the elbows, right? So we don't want to let the elbows fall out to the side. We want to squeeze them back. Chest is broad, shoulder blades pull together. Okay? And when we squeeze that circle, the shape of it might not even change. Maybe just a tiny bit. Really squeezing in the upper back. Good. Here we can't really accomplish any pulses. It's just too much right there. So we squeeze. Nice and smooth on the exhale. Perfect. And we're finished with this circle here. And now we get into the stretches. So I really like doing this with a resistance band. Classically, it's done with a wooden pole. I feel like, especially if you have, if you're trying to rehab a shoulder condition, it's nice to have the flexibility of the band. That way it's not quite so unforgiving. Okay, so the first movement, you're going to have that band just a little bit wider than your hips. That's kind of where you want to start, a little bit wider than the body. Okay, and then from here, you're going to come up and just behind the head, a little stretch on that band. Get these long tails out of the way so you can see a little bit better where we're going with this. Okay, so nice short band here. Up and back. Pull it apart just slightly there. A little stretch in the chest. And when we talked about shoulder stability with that circle, same thing here. We don't want to let those shoulders rise up into the ears, right? We keep them down in their pockets. One more here. Little stretch on that band behind the head. Good. And then we're going to go longer with the band here. That's going to give you more space to come all the way back and around, if you can. Good. If your shoulders are particularly tight, you might not be able to get all the way back and around. Maybe you'll get here and you get stuck, and that's fine. Okay? If we get stuck somewhere without getting all the way around, then we're just going to bounce on that band. Stretching into that fascia of the shoulders, trying to let it open up a little bit, give us some more space. And then we're going to come back forward, and then we try it again. Okay? What I don't want to see is the rib cage popping out, the shoulders coming up. If that's where we got to go to get it all the way back, then we got stuck. We want to stop here. Okay? So if we keep the front of the rib cage closed together like a corset, we keep the shoulder blades down in the pockets. And if we can maintain that while accomplishing getting that band all the way around, then that's where we want to be. Inhale up and back. And exhale, back forward. And we're going to choke up on that band again, get it a little shorter. Okay. From here, we're going to go into a lateral flexion. So we're going to tilt to the side. We want to try to keep the head evenly spaced between the arms. And exhale, come back to center. Inhale over. If we want a little bit deeper into this stretch, that bottom hand can pull down on the band. Get a little bit more resistance pulling into that top side. Inhale over, pull down. Good. Exhale, center. Okay, next I'm going to add on. We're going to add a little twist. I'm going to scoot back a little bit more so you can kind of see more of that movement. So first I'm going to come into that lateral movement. Then I'm going to try and keep the hips facing forward, rotate the ribs. So here I'm reaching my right arm across. My right hip is pulling back. So that sense of elongation from both ends. Arm reaches out of the hip, hip pulls back. To come out of it, we go back to lateral and back to center. Second side. First we go lateral, and then we twist from the ribs. Left hand reaches forward, left hip pulls back. To lateral, back to center. Let's do that one more time. Lateral, and twist. And then from there, we're going to finish the sequence with a Pilates standing roll down, which we'll do with our resistance band as well. Just again to broaden the chest a little bit more openness there. Now our Pilates standing roll down is unique in that it's a spinal articulation movement. So notice carefully my back here. So we want to feel like we're peeling the spine down one bone at a time as we roll down. So here at the top, I'm going to take a big inhale, pull on that band, elbows go straight back, broadening the collarbones, again widening the ribcage side to side, creating space. And then I'm going to release the tension on that band. Exhale, chin to chest, peeling the spine down one bone at a time. Maintaining the belly button, pulling up into the spine. Keeping the legs engaged together. And then we roll all the way down. On that exhale, we tuck the tail, scoop the belly, roll it back up. Imagine stacking your spine back against the wall, one bone at a time. As I roll up, I'm catching the tension back on my band. Starts to tighten up as I roll up. And at the very top, inhale, elbows back, collarbones wide. One more time, release that tension. Exhale. Chin to chest, keep the belly tight. Roll it down, arms are heavy. You're going to feel a nice stretch in the mid-back between the shoulder blades there. We allow the arms to just fall straight down. And then we take an inhale at the bottom, exhale, pull up from the belly, tuck the tail, restack that lumbar spine against the wall, an imaginary wall, and rolling through the rib cage, shoulder blades back, head stacks on top, inhale, and exhale. All right. So whether or not you've got a shoulder injury, or if you've had a mastectomy recently like I have, or any other just general tightness in the shoulders, hopefully a little bit of stretching, a little bit of strengthening there will kind of help you to find some balance and better range of motion, better functionality and strength. So thanks for watching.